Inferno's on a map you normally see Vitality losing, particularly their favourite CT side, but FURIA's disrespectful approach to banana control had them baffled and created a very exciting half of Counter-Strike to watch. And it was obvious right off the bat that FURIA wanted to hit this area of the map particularly hard. You can see all the utility they've bought here going into the pistol round, but it actually doesn't start off very clean for FURIA. In fact, they're missing utility because they're going too quickly. Yakinda here spots flames, the molly comes in, he swings around, but the counter flash is there, and ZywOo's able to get the kill back here for Vitality. And interestingly, you might have seen ZywOo wasn't blind there, despite being in the open like you might have wanted him to be, and the round starts to settle for Vitality here. But if we go back to the banana control, you can see FURIA aren't on the same page. A very simple molly sandbags flash top banana for the control. Molodor is not ready. You can see he's jiggling his crosshair all over the place. He's lining up different flashes. Ends up being a really bad flash. You can see he goes way too far here to blind anyone coming out from sandbags. ZywOo's able to get back and get that first kill. FURIA keep pushing the tempo, which ZywOo continues to punish them for, getting a second, then reposition to backside, getting a third kill before eventually getting traded. And then luckily for FURIA, with the man disadvantage, Apex decides to spam a smoke. He gets taken out by Quesarado. Rops on the flank gets easily red here for the freest kill. And then the 2v1 is played well by FURIA, with Mezzi having no chance coming through CT spawn. The next round of their anti-force buy, FURIA do a very quick take of top banana using double mollies to basically clear the entire thing out, before Quesarado very quickly peeks Apex jiggling spawn, getting him down to 23 HP there. But again, FURIA not coordinating themselves like they might be able to. If he'd waited a second for Yuri to line up his nade, that's a kill into Apex. 77 plus that nade's going to at least 77 damage. You're going to get the pick there. However, he didn't. He went faster than was probably optimal, and they don't get that first pick. The round continues to play out, and FURIA are lucky to recover from this B hit, which is a little bit messy to say the least, but they do convert the anti-force buy, with again highlighting the very fast banana control at the beginning. The next round we're going to see again first the low buy, a very fast banana take with a nade in the middle of the open, the double mollies for top banana, and the flash up here on the roof to take control. We're then going to nade behind the molly for if anyone's trying to re-clear it, just to do a little bit of a punish damage there. And if I take you to the next round, I want you to think about the message that FURIA are sending Vitality. They're going to smoke off banana themselves here with this nice smoke out of spawn, and then they're going to go very quickly through that, molotoving behind that to stop Vitality taking control, but then using a molotov even through their own smoke here, followed by a double nade on towards sandbags. And what message are they telling Vitality? They're telling Vitality that we're going to use a lot of utility on top banana regardless on the situation. So the best option is what Vitality do here, where they wait for you to take top banana control, then they throw the smoke molly flash to retake control of that area. However, because FURIA are going so quickly with their utility, Vitality are actually re-clearing way faster than they'd want to. You can see here, we've even doubled up the smoke on this banana half wall between the FURIA smoke and the Vitality smoke, because Vitality have re-cleared so quickly just because of that Molotov and double nade. This round, however, is unique because FURIA never take that banana control, which allows Vitality to play 4 players towards A here, as FURIA take top mid and start to pressure this part of the map. Now, interestingly from Vitality is they're not really playing together. You can see Mezzi gets mollied out here in the cubby, and it's a free pick for FURIA. And interestingly, if we pause here, Apex was playing around library with Mezzi here in this corner, and they had no one pressuring short, so there was no one really ready to play top mid off Mezzi, so I'm not really sure what they were doing in that position with 4 players over here towards A. And ultimately, the result is that Vitality feel pressured to start making plays, which means that Rop's going to peek here into the AWP and give up that particular pick, and then ZywOo's going to get caught off guard by how far Yakinda is up on site, and that's going to be a round for FURIA, despite Vitality having 4 players on the correct side of the map. Now, 5 rounds into the half, Vitality haven't won a single round yet and are forced to take a timeout. And this is where things start to get interesting around this banana control and the battle we're going to see going on here. Flames is going to be our point man. Mezzi's going to throw the smoke for the half wall from here at the truck before Flames goes in here towards banana and just nades in the middle. Again, he would hit anyone that was throwing those fast molotovs that we saw early on. He's going to jump up here, and you saw him get his molotov out there ready to potentially take banana control through their own smoke. However, this is where FURIA have now mixed it up coming at the timeout. You can see Quesarado is much slower towards banana here. He waits for utility before jumping and throwing this very deep molotov here further back than they've been throwing it at this entrance to Banana. This forces Mezzi forward if he wants to support Flames, straight into where the double nade is waiting for him. And this is the reason I've been pointing out how quickly FURIA have been throwing their Molotovs towards Banana, because there's a slight change of pacing here, which catches Will off guard, and is the death of him in this round. You can see that he wants to take deep control with Flames, like we said, delays him a second, thinking FURIA's not coming, but then because they're a little later with that utility, he gets caught off guard and gets taken out. Flames is then going to go mental here, and that's going to be a bit of a theme for the next few rounds. You can see he's jumping around, throwing mollies, he's flashing here. This is my favourite shot of the lot, the jumping half-wall M4 shot. Before he smokes it off and eventually stabilizes. But as this round plays out, there's actually going to be no more kills. You can see Flames, once he eventually uses all his utility and this final Molotov and smoke here, he's just going to leave, and FURIA are going to call his bluff, walk through B together, and there's actually no other kill here. It's simply just that little change of pace on Banana, gets them that one kill, and secures them their 11th round, and quite a significant lead at this point. The next round is where FURIA start conditioning their next little trick, which is my favourite one of them all, and they actually do start to go slowly down here towards Banana. All they throw is a Molotov, followed by a grenade here from Yuri as his Molotov's fading on the corner, which does a ton of chip damage here, before they back off and actually just give Vitality Banana control. There's a little play there from Vitality, which I quite like, and you can potentially do with your friends, is they wait for the T side to potentially be in Banana, and then they nade their own half-wall smoke, Molotov off barrels, and get a flash over the top, which you can see does actually catch the FURIA members in the open, and Flames did have a chance for a kill here. Unfortunately, Mezzi did get team flash, so both of them couldn't peek together, but then Apex comes around and smartly nades the T stairs, knowing that's where they're going to have run away from if they're not caught by this play, and there's a lot of chip damage for both teams here. Yakinda tries to make a play out Boiler and gives ZywOo a pretty simple pick, and an interesting thing about this particular match on Inferno was that when FURIA didn't get an early pick or some kind of huge advantage, they actually really struggled to execute the sites. Even those earlier rounds, they struggled to exec B really well with man advantages. But you can see here, as this one comes to play out, I much prefer this setup that I'm seeing here from Vitality with the top mid setup with ZywOo and Mezzi, not just Mezzi by himself. Mezzi doesn't quite get the timing here. You can see he tries to swing off the smoke timing, doesn't go his way, but Rops and ZywOo are going to lock this one down together. ZywOo doesn't hit that first shot, but he does a really good job here with Rops playing this crossfire. Rops wins this first kill swinging on timing, and then ZywOo takes out this apartments player, and with that early man advantage, it was going to be impossible for Quesarada to switch, or to clutch this one out with 9 HP. My absolute favourite round though is this one coming out of the FURIA timeout, because you can see how both teams are adapting to how this Banana battle is playing out. We're going to see 2 Molotovs used very quickly here from FURIA, like we've seen earlier on in this half, followed by yet again this very quick double nade, this time towards sandbags. However, Vitality, they're not having a bar at it. Look where they are. They're like, okay, we're not going to get caught off guard by these shenanigans again. We're sitting all the way back here near CT spawn. We're not going to get caught off guard by any type of nades. FURIA has just shown them a whole pile of nades being thrown at top car, which is the cue that, okay, they still can't double nade us now. They've used all their utility. Apex, throw your flash over the top. We've got our smoke, our Molotov, and we're going to reclaim this top car position. However, FURIA are now one step ahead. They're like, yeah, we want you to re-clear this. We're not going to try and take this. We've just thrown all this utility to make you think it's safe, because they've got Molodoi on top of a boost here. And smartly, him and Yuri stayed crouched, because there's always going to be that flash from Apex, which is going to potentially get him spotted. Then once that flash has gone off, they're going to jump up, both stand up, and give Molodoi that angle on towards top car. The smoke comes out from Flames, which means Apex thinks he's safe. He's going to strafe out, and that's a very easy pick for FURIA, yet again winning that battle of Banana. And you can see this creates a very strong scenario from FURIA. One we saw earlier on, Yakinda peeking short, getting that control off ZywOo. And if we look at the utility situation, very little utility left on Vitality. In fact, ZywOo just threw his last pieces, and so did Rops. So there's literally nothing left for them to defend this site. Now, Flames, as I said, he's had enough. Alright, so he just sat here at Sandbag by himself for funny position to play by yourself, but he makes it work. Absolutely shuts down FURIA here and extends the game. Where the next round we see FURIA being cheeky, thinking they can do the same boost again. Flames, however, clears this one properly, reverse clearing it with the smoke in front of him, which you can see is a huge advantage if this boost isn't a surprise to the CT side, giving Vitality the advantage, and then they're able to close out that round before FURIA make a really smart adjustment to get their final 2 rounds. You've noticed that Vitality have consistently been locking down Banana with 3 rifle players, leaving Rops and ZywOo as the only players over here towards A, an AWP and 1 gun that has the big multi-kill potential. So FURIA is simply going to pull off this very nice A rush 2 rounds in a row to close out this side of the map. You can see ZywOo gets caught with a nade in his hand on the low buy, getting FURIA to 12, and then on the very next round, FURIA again, they find ZywOo and isolate that AWPer, calling the bluff of Vitality that play 3 rifles towards B, which is exactly what happens. They get arch control once ZywOo does this tag up, which he's forced to do basically, and they get control of just so much of the map with a minute 30 left. And once Mezzi loses this fight, it's basically over for Vitality. They've just lost way too much map control. FURIA can slowly isolate this and basically get anything they want out of the map. So great banana control and conditioning from FURIA, reading the game, seeing the reactions Vitality going to throw their way. I hope you learnt a thing or two, and if you did, please like and subscribe.